and we can get started shortly. Or should we wait till the top of the hour? Okay. Look, my screen is visible to you all. Okay. Um, well, thank you for having me. Right? And it's really an honor and privilege to be with you all here. So I'm very excited to present my insights and uh, like yeah, I would be remiss to say that the time zones have not really allowed me to look my best. It's almost 1 a.m. in the morning, late at night out here. So, unlike you guys, I have had a long day. So, I hope you guys enjoy the soft days you're having, right? Well, so, well, a bit of an introduction about myself, and thank you for introducing me. I'm Sharma. I primarily work as an enterprise architect, but that's not only my role. I also work with academia as well as with the C-suites on various industries and companies out here in North America to help out with their digital transformation activities. And as we are progressing uh, with this year and over the last years, I think the role of AI has become more and more prominent, and as the days pass by, it's becoming even more prominent. So I am going to talk about artificial intelligence and like how it's helping research, policy, and innovation overall. Um, and to begin with, these would be about the key topics that I wanted to cover. So I'll be going into how AI started, what's SAP, and like how that digital transformation happens. For those of you who don't know about SAP in particular, the AI and research innovation ecosystems that are within SAP as well as outside of SAP that we are utilizing quite heavily, and the policy implications that are driving a lot of these AI initiatives in large and mid-sized enterprises that we are seeing almost every day, right? So to start with the AI revolution, right? Like I still remember the days when having or knowing about a natural language processing or an NN plus one model in machine learning used to be uh, the thing, right? Uh, but we have since evolved and like quite rapidly from those models, right? Like the bring the use of and the launch of large language models basically have allowed us to grow exponentially, or AI to grow exponentially, and you know how it's used in research. I mean, like um, whether you believe it or not, in academia as well as in industry, we do a lot of research before we go ahead in front of a customer or a client, as well as when we uh, publish a research paper or like publish any article out, even in LinkedIn or any other publications. And everywhere, instead of Googling things, now people ask ChatGPT or ask for, right? And that shift, unlike the internet shift of like, hey, can I Google something, which happened over the course of 10 to 15 years, Uh, this shift of AI has come about in the last 3 to 4 years as only, right? So the growth is exponential, the investment is exponential, and the opportunity as well, right? So, in research specifically, if you are familiar with some of the um, research that is happening with Google DeepMind, so they are working to create molecular structures for uh, uh, complex compounds, right? And it's completely an AI initiative. And what they are doing is they're basically coming up with new molecular structures and like doing, you guys know it better, right? Like synthesizing the molecular structures for some of the complex compounds in chemistry is not easy, right? But with the use of AI, we are kind of uh, accelerating that process. And through that acceleration, we are achieving also how or the utilization of those complex chemical molecules as well as how it's implemented in day-to-day life, right? So the news of um, like new and new drug discoveries, new um, methods of treatment and care in the medical field are basically being accelerated because of the use of AI. And so is the case with industry as well. You will see a lot of the industry titans, the big companies like the Reliances of the world or the Tatas of the world are starting to utilize AI more and more, both in their consulting firms as well as captively in-house. So it's definitely making the impact that it is supposed to be doing. And the good thing about this is it does deliver on its insights and what it's supposed to be delivering in as part of the research content, right? But as we move forward, we'll go a little bit deep into probably not too deep, but a little bit deep into how that content accurateness happens, right? And with this, which didn't happen with the internet era and is now basically happening with the AI era, is now there are policy frameworks being set up. So there's almost every country has an AI strategy and an AI governance that they have set up, and all the countries in the world are investing quite heavily from their uh, public market infrastructure into AI and having the AI models as well as the infrastructure set up completed. So there's cycles to how policy, how AI gets integrated into the policy, right? So uh, it starts basically with a strategy or like an agenda, and then the implementation of that particular strategy is where we are at right now. So most everybody has an AI strategy, but we are now implementing those things. And with that implementation is happening, what's happening is a constant feedback loop has been set up. So you implement something, you evaluate, and then you improve upon that based on the feedback that you see. And that's the case with the AI policy frameworks, and that's why you see a lot of accelerated growth as well as an accelerated path in AI pretty much everywhere you look, right? But having said that, right, so AI does come in different layers and it does require a lot of back-end infrastructure to be able to accurately provide the answers or the insights that we are looking for. That requires a lot of funding. So the initial investments in AI are always very, very high. It's not because the companies are being evaluated at 10x and whatnot. That's all market related things. We're not discussing those. It's just simply the nature of the beast. In the sense that these algorithms do take a lot of power and a lot of computing power to be able to execute these um, insights and outcomes. The talent and workforce, and this is where we come into the picture, right? Like with academia, with industry, how we are implementing AI or how we are teaching AI to be able to use ethically. Um, so, like the internet era, with this one also, it's always people try to use it for the wrong first, and then they use it for something good. So this time around, people took notice or took that learning and they basically started implementing ethical frameworks setting around AI first. And with those ethical frameworks, they started the learning competency process and like the learning lessons, which are, you might have seen things available in Coursera or YouTube or other platforms where people can proactively learn about AI. And this also goes back to the learning of STEM related areas. So you now with the introduction of AI, essentially, you don't need to be a programmer to be able to build something from scratch, right? If you know the basics of AI and you understand what you want to achieve out of the outcomes that you want to achieve, you can create something from AI by yourself. And that's where the real power of AI lies, right? Like it's where in day-to-day activities, AI is going to help us. Research integrity and ethics. So this is exactly what I was referring to. So in academia, when we do research, we don't want, or we want everything to be cited, and we assume that the people are creating um, novel ideas by themselves, right? There's no cheating involved and so on. Right, so there is some ethics that has been put around this AI implementations as well. Generally, in industry, we see that every company defines their ethics code and a legal use of AI within their enterprises differently. And we are seeing this now with governments as well. So the government of France has a completely different AI strategy than the European Union, where in France you are able to use AI to generate new music, to generate new videos, etc. Right? And a content creator can create new content for themselves rather than utilizing somebody else. So that's where the ethics of AI comes into the picture. And with this, right, as I mentioned, all these um, ethics as well as the investments, they are, as you might have already seen in the news, through the roof, right? Like countries like the United States and China are already investing in like hundreds of billions of dollars uh, for research and development within AI, but then there are countries that are playing it smartly, like Japan, India, and we are very strategically targeting specific areas of AI wherein we see most value to be generated in the near future as we proceed further. But again, I think the place where we are, or we should be targeting more is the one on the right here, the policy maturity, right? Because that is what's going to define how AI gets utilized and what the outcomes are going to be for the usage of AI. Basically, how it is helping the person sitting next to you or yourself, right? And that's going to come from some basic um, policies, mature policies that are going to define those. Like, for example, out here in Canada, for video generation and so on, we have certain limitations. We can't use public figures to generate AI content. So I cannot use an actor to generate an AI content for in Canada because that's considered a privacy issue out here. So is the case in the EU. EU is kind of a leader in GDPR and like the privacy policies anyways in the world. So they have even more stricter laws. But then France chose to do something unique where they are, the policy states that if a person is an individual, if they want to utilize AI to create something unique and new for themselves, they can do that, right? And that's what people in France are kind of working towards. But it's something, and it goes for research as well, right? Like, so a lot of the AI today in France is being used for quantum research, for quantum computing research specifically, because what they see is quantum computing becoming the future of computing as we move forward. And they are, in order to accelerate that quantum computing leap, they are utilizing AI in their research policies, their research and development in academia in France, where they can then utilize this at a larger scale for quantum computing. So that's the long-term goal. Again, coming back to the pillars of the AI-driven research and innovation, right? Infrastructure is the first and foremost one. And you will see a lot of big AI data centers coming into the picture very soon, even in India, if they are not already. And it's all over the world, really, right? So that's where one of the key pieces lies is for the infrastructure. And the second piece here is the data itself, because the AI is as good as the data that it learns from. So it's especially true for enterprises, and as we move forward, it will be very true for research and academia as well. So, like as I was mentioning, right, like the data is in like multiple petabytes these days, and like Google, everybody is now offering storage in petabytes on their cloud infrastructures. And if I go and look at some of the largest enterprises that I work with, they are generating terabytes worth of data on a daily basis, right? In certain cases, it's like it's an hourly basis. So, like depending on the enterprise and like how they're utilizing their data, So data integrity and data governance are taking center stage uh, and being more and more prominent along with AI, right? That's another key piece here. But once you do have that infrastructure and data aligned, then comes the accelerated discovery, right? Because I don't think people are investing heavily in new LLM models. I think we've reached the cap of the LLM models as much as we could have. What we are kind of looking for is now discovery into areas that we have that like as humankind we've not gone and like we are taking the assist from AI to leap into that area and like see where all things are working on. So like the AlphaFold model that I was talking about with Google's DeepMind, AI is basically one of the ones, right, like the protein folding of the complex molecular structures, drug repurposing. So Pfizer is using the drug repurposing, um, uh, and they have deployed it in production actually. So likewise, I know PepsiCo has deployed different AI models in production. So there's Coke and other companies are catching up if they have not already done so. And with that is coming the collaborative intelligence, right? So now all companies have some of the other AI, and like it's important to know, right? Like companies that we use of the academia that we talk about. So today we are talking about academia in India, in central India, right? But a few weeks back, I was talking to somebody in US and the University of Minnesota, and we had a similar discussion. And I presented a similar version of this slide that I'm talking about here to them, right? So the intelligence is also getting very collaborative across borders. I don't think people are looking or people are constricted by location or availability to something anymore, right? We do have like the basic AI models available to everybody. Google's Gemini is kind of commercialized that, and along with Meta and other AIs that are out there. So, or OpenAI's ChatGPT model, right? So, with that, basically, there is no limitation. All the limitation of that is basically within yourself. If you want to do something, you can get all the knowledge that you want from AI as well as use AI to collaborate with others and like create research papers in a secure manner for which we used to use or as a browser or as a file sharing interface. In the past, AI is securing complex research workloads in here nowadays, right? And so is responsible governance of all the audit trails and like what AI is truly doing is something that even a fresh grad that has just started learning about AI to somebody who's been working in the industry for the past 15 to 20 years can also explain. So that's one thing, but it's not perfect. So AI does have hallucinations, it does have bias, depending on the data that you feed it on, and that's why governance is very. I just wanted to give a view of what SAP is doing in the area. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but SAP is in ERP. A lot of the companies out in India and all over the world use it. So if you are an enterprise that basically is dealing with over $1 billion in revenue and turnover, most likely you have SAP in your infrastructure. And since SAP is used by 80 or 90% of the Fortune 500 companies, this is the tool that basically if you give AI or introduce AI as the base layer for this tool, the through that digital transformation, the enterprises that are utilizing this tool become intelligent with the use of AI themselves, right? So we have seen a lot of these use cases, public sectors, life sciences, in higher education as well as in manufacturing. Um, so this is just an overview of what we are seeing in different industries and how AI is getting adopted across. I think public sector is the leader in terms of investments in AI so far. But then the other like life sciences is the second biggest area that we see people using AI quite heavily, especially within the SAP level. And this is just the ROI multiplier of digital transformation with respect to AI. So as you can see, the numbers are almost 8x from what we have here with the traditional ROI within ERP without AI. Um, so I wanted to quickly go into the research and development on AI and how we are basically using AI to drive research in a lot of the areas, right? So the basis for R&D with AI lies with a novel idea that a person wants to uh, get the hypothesis for, right? So this is where I think providing context and providing the right data to an AI becomes very crucial, right? So, for instance, if from academia perspective, if we are looking to synthesize a new material model, right, we need to first ensure that AI understand what material models are and how those material models, sometime at a uh, nano level or a metro level, impact the day-to-day usage that we do of materials in our daily lives today. But once you provide that context, then the language models that are out there, they do a good job of generating that hypothesis. And the good thing with some of the new tools, like if you use the Fable model in Claude, you know that it's very good at creating simulations and doing unit tests. So, apologies. So, for instance, if you have for instance, if you have um, um, an experimentation or like a new piece of code or any new hypothesis that you're working towards, you can run that simulation in within the AI tool itself or ask the AI to do that. Once it is done, AI also packages things and basically sends it out for peer reviews, right? So the path that we used to follow of publishing IEEE paper, peer reviews, um, it used to be finally accepted to be published into the IEEE journal. And that process still exists in IEEE. I'm not contesting that process. What it has improved is the ability to get to that level, right? Of actually doing peer reviews among scientists, amongst academia, and then publishing something out. So that's where I think AI is getting used quite heavily, and like why the data is playing a very crucial role in this discovery. Um, Again, I think this is something that I've tried to converge academia and the industry models together, and like how academia is influencing the industry as well as vice versa, how industry influences academia, and how the convergence of AI is kind of accelerating some of those influences in both ways. Um, Again, ethics and governance around AI is a key and important um, area that I think more and more research, more and more uh, uh, like, uh, more and more growth is happening on a day-to-day basis. The ISO model for AI governance around 4201 and the EU AI Act is basically those are the guidelines and the basis for all the governance models that you see out there um, in, in the industry as well as in academia today, right? So any national AI strategy is using those two, uh, basically those two ISO, those two as standards to create their own AI strategy. And then the implications and future outlook, right? Like, so I think uh, this one is more on, like, what the European Union and other nations are doing, per se, that are kind of leading the areas into AI. But also, I wanted to give what SAP and like other ERP companies like Salesforce and Oracle apps are also trying to contribute in the same area. Again, the investments, right? Like it's an attractive piece to not go into and like to just overlook, right? The investments have been like exponential. The very first AI model, or like when I started, I was working with IBM Watson or IBM Watson AI tool for life sciences. So doctors were using that tool to basically read through the scribbled notes that they scribe and put them into like actual words and create prescriptions from those scribbled notes. And that was in 2016. So from then to now, it's a quantum leap that's happened in AI, right? So not only has investment gone up, but the outcomes have gone up as well. And this has happened only because of research and like so open AI came into existence because of the research paper that was published in IEEE, right? So that's where academia and industry collide uh, very heavily. Again, data cleansing is becoming a big activity these days in industry because there's not an industry or a company out there that can confidently say that I have 100% accurate data, right? And the outlook for AI is basically, I don't think this is valid. This was created last month. So I think some of it is still valid, but with the pace that AI is accelerating, I think some of this is already outdated, right? And most of the things that we foresee coming in 2030, 2029, we now foresee coming in next year or in 2028 itself. So that's the AI and like how it's influencing research innovation and policy across the world. I just wanted to give a few minutes for question. I know I'm a couple of minutes over. Hope that's okay. And thanks for listening to me.
Anyone have any questions, we can ask that to sir.
Hey, I'm available on LinkedIn or you can post any questions through Divya or Dr. Archie anytime. And so thanks again for having me and have a nice rest of your day as well as a very nice weekend.
Our boy, everyone present here. I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Mr. R. Sharma sir for his enlightening and thought-provoking presentation. The session on the AI evolution, the role of artificial intelligence research, STEM, and digital technologies, and emerging for application of quantum computing research, provided us with valuable insight into the future of technology and innovation. The knowledge, practical examples, and future perspectives shared during this session have undoubtedly broadened our understanding of cutting-edge technologies and their impact on economic, business, and society. Once again, thank you very much, sir. We are very honored that you have joined us today, and we also would like to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you. Over to Dr. Subharu again. And could we start our next session? Or this is the monitor and the person monitor can am I audible, sir?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I can hear you, sir. Can you hear me, sir? Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
So in terms of second presentation, sir, so I welcome you, sir, on behalf of all our speakers. It's a pleasure to introduce you, sir. It's a pleasure to introduce Mr. Pradesh Sardar, Senior Principal Engineer at Oracle and Business Technology leader for 17 years of experience in data engineering, distributed data analysis, cloud computing, and AI-driven data platform. Mr. Gupta is recognized for his expertise in globally distributed databases. Oracle databases here in Oracle experience of the data warehousing, data modeling and price, data integration, head of system, part and no price architecture. With his technical leadership and innovation, he has contributed significantly to the development of large-scale, high-performance data systems that power modern enterprises worldwide. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Welcome, sir. We are very enthusiastic to hear from you, sir. What do you say?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Arnav, for welcome and good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. If someone is in a time zone. This is Sabri Gupta, so as Mr. Arnav has given my introduction, so I have been working with product manager here, and I have like over 22 decades of experience. Like so this has been my journey. Like I progressed from a student to a technology leader in big organization like Oracle. So like my experience, I worked on many companies prior to Oracle. Like I have been involved as a technology architect in Cognizant, as a consulting company, and worked with Sapient, Intergroup Technology. So like my experience has been to different domains. Like I have worked on banking, healthcare. I developed fraud detection system, many collateral systems, like loan mortgage systems. And so my journey throughout the career has been towards databases, like my expertise is databases, and now as technology is evolving, so and it is difficult to handle the data volume because data is growing very rapidly. We used to talk about gigabytes, now we talk about petabytes, not only terabytes, because a lot of people are doing analytics and they are doing analytics on petabytes, scale of data. So the system like which we used to have, like for example, a regular database system, you could scale to a certain point, right? You could have a bigger CPU, you can increase the capacity, like you can have a bigger RAM, you could have good storage, but it has certain limits, right? So what you need actually, you need some kind of scaling, so that you can scale your computing, you can scale your memory. So for that, your systems will be kind of fungible scalable, so you need to support for scaling horizontally, not vertical scaling where you could upgrade your memory, upgrade your CPU. So to handle petabyte of data, obviously you need some kind of a horizontal scaling support. So that's called distributed processing, like where you have number of nodes and all nodes are working. So you feel like it's a logical one system, but behind the scenes, many nodes, compute nodes are working in the survey your request, maybe if you have any analytics queries or any other processing you want your system to perform. So that's the system I work on. I work on a product called Product Improvement Distributed Database. So I suppose that I have been working for major customers, mainly banking, big banks, and processing systems. So every time you tap your phone this morning, like you check the weather, pay for coffee or board a flight. So individual system made thousands of decisions for you, right? So, and like whether you do any transactions, maybe withdraw money, that's also we are living in a data-driven world, like whether it's booking a flight or doing any business intelligence, like you design some dashboard, we want to perform analytics. So everything like whatever we do in our day-to-day transactions, that's a data-driven world. Right? So data is basically that powers your modern society. So, and those who understand the data, they will save the future. So I think we have to basically understand the data very well. Whatever system we go to design, if you can interpret the data, then you can design a better system. So, like our previous generation, they used to build roads, they will build power grids. So what our the mission is building, we are building like data platform, data center, AI. That's our generation job, like, So data is the foundation for digital civilization. So that's the message I want to convey, like, investing in data infrastructure is in the field of capacity, innovate and lead in the 21st century. So there are many visual system, as I mentioned, we use daily, like where we see the weather forecasting, or we make any airline booking, or we do any money transfer, or any healthcare service, or shopping over Amazon.com, or any online public platform, correct? So we are using the system daily, right? So as I mentioned, what is a distributed system? Like, this is my expertise. Like, you cannot, you can scale a system up to a limit, vertical scaling is possible. So that if you want more compute, more storage, then obviously you're looking for a system which is horizontal. We support horizontal scaling where you could add more nodes depending on what processing power you want. You can add more systems so that it can scale horizontally and you can get more compute, more storage, and you can store your data. I mean, nowadays, like, there are many revolutions coming for the data residency also. It is called data sovereignty. So where you want to store your data, for example, India government wants India data should be stored in India. For example, any credit card company, they used to store data for example in USA, now in because of the regulations, they want their data to be stored in India only, or maybe other countries. So those kind of things are supported by distributed database. Maybe your database which requires this data sovereignty, they can live in that India region, and other master node processing, if it's doing processing, that can live in USA. And it can get the data from other countries. So lot of requirements are met by this distributed system, like so these are the like core engineering goals, like it should be reliable, scalable, available, like performance. So low latency, obviously, you need like it should be like it has high latency because we want to take a decision very quickly. So it should be highly available, like always accessible, like no single point of failure, like one node is down, but data is served by another node. So research and a distributed system, I will say, like they go hand in hand, like so distributed computing system and the global research enterprise tracking and effective. Both are very much similar, like they are decentralized, collaborative, and designed for resilience and distributed growth. Because researchers across institutions, they are also generating like new data points, they are working on new findings, just as the distributed node, like they generate events and transactions, as I mentioned, like. So information sharing also and building on discoveries, multiplied impact, like and like researchers, they can collaborate and they can be efficient, and they as like distributed data system, they can work in parallel and they can be more efficient. They can increase the productivity and that like research and improve the productivity. So the biggest challenge of our era is not data. Like previously, what used to be a challenge, getting the right set of data. Like, it was very less data and it was hard to find out the data and work on the problem. Right? So nowadays, in this era, it's too much data. So from that data, we have to basically derive a meaningful data. So challenges like finding out and filtering out signal from noise, right? So that's what we want. We want to extract meaningful data which we can use in our research, and so converting information to actionable knowledge. So that's the challenge in our era. It's too much. You can see, like as I mentioned before, we are working on the petabytes volume of data. Like there is a lot of data AI is using, but there's a lot of data if you are using AI systems. AI, maybe large language model, and you want to train your models on the data set, but you want to train your data set on the correct data set, not like on some outlier, otherwise it can be pretty wrong. So, So this is a chain, so data alone has no interesting values related to the chain process, like you have a raw data and you have pattern and then you convert it into knowledge, and then finally you take the decisions, so data is into action after that. So this is a life cycle, and so artificial, as I said, AI needs what? It needs a data quality, data governance, data accuracy, data integrity. So we have to train our model on a good data set, not on a noise. Otherwise, it will make a wrong decision. Data governance is important. It should be it should be clear ownership, and data should be support integrity. It should not be you should protect your data. You know, and data accuracy is very important, as I mentioned, models trained on inaccurate data, they can amplify errors. So we should be very careful about the data, because all the decisions are, your models are trained on the, data set. And we usually do AI, we train on 80% data, and then we validate our model 20% data. So if it has outliers, it's going to make a wrong decision, wrong forecast. So these are the research challenges in our AI era, data governance and ethics, transparency, security, and reproducibility. So who wants the data? How can we get the data? It's properly auditable or not? And research system, it should be protected from some threats, there are hackers, they can hack your data. So it should be protected. It should be safe, and because hospitals and other systems, they work on their data system, and designed by some hackers, it can create a disaster. So future is still beyond research. So researchers of tomorrow obviously is not really subject matter expert. They should be data literate, they should understand the data very well. They should have a ability to for critical thinking and problem solving ability they should have, and they should have a more collaborative, working with multiple teams, so they should have that expertise and understand the data very well. So I'll talk about some high demand technology domains in USA, what now the trend is if you go through a LinkedIn and you try to find out the job, you will see most of the jobs are basically centered around the data engineering, cloud computing, AI engineers, cybersecurity, data scientists, So these are the number of jobs in USA. So that's the high technology domain in the USA. So because data engineering, obviously, data is growing every day, and after this AI picture, data is growing massively. I mentioned we talked about the petabytes. So it's not those data gone where we used to talk about gigabytes. Now we need some data engineer. We need some expert who can handle this data. So there are distributed systems, like I mentioned about the globally distributed database. There are Spark database, which can do parallel processing, and which can work on your data set, analyze that data set. So we need those kind of skill sets, and we need that talent. So similarly, cloud computing, first we used to have on-prem capability, you have server on-prem databases. But now everyone is moving to the cloud, whether it's AWS, OCI, or Azure. So we need some cloud engineers, we need some AI engineers. After this AI, now the time is for AI engineers, prompt engineers. So these are the high demand technology domains in the USA. So as I mentioned, these are the popular roles. We need some database architect, we need data engineers, we need some cloud engineers, platform engineers, or analytics engineers who can perform analytics on the data set. So what's the practical roadmap to a career in the USA? So obviously, when I started my career, I was in India. So how I build the fundamentals, like, I do like, data is very important. So I started my career as a Oracle database expert, like, then I built those strong fundamentals, after that, did a lot of projects and research, joined as an intern, facilities. So that's how I have progressed in my career, like, kind of good network opportunities, reaching out to people. So like nowadays, social media is there, we can use LinkedIn and other things, we can create a good network of people who can help out in every. So beyond technical skill set, what US employees are really looking forward, like, they want someone who has ability to take on, complex challenges, to structure solutions, like problem solving skills. There. Better communication, who can basically, like, here, we need to interact with the people who are non-technical. So basically, you are technical, then probably you need to break down that technical problem into, and you can basically portray the requirement to non-technical person, because you work with the business, you work with end users, they don't understand the technical thing, like, so being a technical person, it goes down, like, have better communication and you can understand the requirement, talk to end user. Obviously, teamwork and adaptability, you need to build a good team, you have a good relationship, collaborate within the team, and get the deliverables. And obviously, you should be curious, you should have that professionalism. So these are the skill set US employers look forward. So get to USA, obviously this H1B visa is very popular, like it's an employer sponsored, like once you get into a company, maybe as an intern, then probably after some experience, if you showcase those skill set, probably you can ask your employer to sponsor a visa. So like it's a lottery-based selection, and so most of the engineers here, like software engineers, they are getting into this completely. So so that's the static advice I would say, like first you need to build a skill and then we have fast, like, then follow from the professional experience. So not other way around. So people, like some people come here, do masters, and they get your OPT, CPT, and after that they look for some employers who can sponsor their MBA, and after that they start working on the activity. Similarly, there's another visa type, O1 visa, like, it's a extraordinary ability visa, like, it's for exceptional professional. So basically, you having that expertise where you have publications and your work has been certified by many people. You have some award and recognition, like, you have critical role in your industry, and you have contributed your contribution is of major significance. That's very important. You have patents, you have original contribution, but that's of major significance. Like people cited your work, like they adopted your work. So then you can apply for one visa. There is no research notification for. So another thing is EB-1A green card. There's also like top 1% people, like, you should build your profile, like you should have research publications similar to like open visa. You should have some patents, personal contributions, it should be of major significance. You should have a critical role. Obviously, you should participate in conferences, maybe a journal review, hackathon, and some judging. You have to perform a lot of things. Like there are 10 criteria, you have to basically meet 3 criteria out of those 10 criteria. Like, so people go for authorship, people go for judging, people go for critical role, high salary, so membership. So these are some criteria. So out of those 10, you have to meet 3 criteria, and then you can apply for any one. So building a global professional profile, obviously, as I mentioned, like you should have a research and technical portfolio, you should have a digital presence, conference and community participation. So that's how you basically can get started and build your profile. And why India can lead the global knowledge now? Obviously, India has a massive talent pool. There are a lot of startups coming out. We have a unique culture. We have technology influence globally. We are expanding our research ecosystem. So India can obviously lead the global knowledge. Platform is used by Indians. So this is the future of research. We need more global international collaboration. We need more evidence-based discovery, data set, more collaborative open science shared platform. So it requires more AI-assisted machine learning, speed analysis. So the researchers and institutions, they have to embrace these 5 dimensions for the success. So these are the 4 pillars to build the future. So as I mentioned before, data that creates insight, collaboration that creates innovation. You have to work collaboratively with other good minds. So that basically creates innovation. And curiosity, obviously, that creates a future. So that's all from my side. So thank you for your time. And any question, I'm happy to answer. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir. Shall have really shall ask you also participate just to be comment and ask the question to the lot of you.
Yeah, thanks everyone. In case I'm on LinkedIn, if anyone has any question, inquiry, they can reach out to me directly.
Sir, so the session on how everyone present like this associated to the professor for this insight and implementation. This session on distributed data system and the concept of research as a distributed system provided a unique perspective on how information, knowledge, and research activities can be effectively managed and coordinated across multiple platforms and stakeholders. Presentation offered valuable insights into the significance of technologies, both academic research and organizational environment. The practical examples and clear explanation made the session highly informative and thought-provoking. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Suresh Prasad, for your excellent presentation. In future also, we will try to do that. Thank you very much. Now we have with us the eminent personality, Professor Delta Devshi, sir. Sir, can you hear me, sir? Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You can go ahead.
Wilson Mahavidyalaya, Science Foundation, and our cooperative institutions, College, Vietnam College, Arvind Gujari College, and Final City, sir. This is the second day of this conference, and we are very happy to be here, sir. Activities first to our audience. We are connected with 1 week and 2 also, sir. And some offline participants are also there who can watch the conference. Let us introduce our eminent speaker, Professor Delta Professor in Finance, University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, and also President, Sri Lanka Institute of Marketing, Brand Ambassador, South Asia, and Wealth Producing, Sri Lanka. Sir, the training to start your training sir. We have again to the pick to your officer. What do you sir?
Thank you very much. I thought so. My screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
So I take it as a great pleasure and honor that I address this distinguished gathering at the International Conference on Global Perspectives and Emerging Research Policies, jointly organized by the Agrasen Mahavidyalaya and sincerely grateful for the invitation to deliver this thesis speech and to be part of this important academic discussion, which brings together scholars, researchers, policymakers, and practitioners from diverse disciplines and also regions. So at the outset, I would like to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of Dr. Vidya Sharma for her vision and leadership in selecting such a timely and relevant theme for this conference. So in an era which characterized by rapid technological advancement, evolving societal needs, and increasing global interconnectedness, so discussions on emerging research policies have become more important than ever before. So this conference basically provides an excellent platform to critically investigate contemporary challenges, their innovative perspectives, and collectively shape the future direction of research, knowledge creation, and evidence-based policymaking at the both national and international levels. So with that understanding, so in line with conference theme, so today I wanted to talk about something that is increasingly important for all of us in academia and also for the industry. So the need to move beyond conventional wisdom, so in management research. So as I stated, in a world shaped by rapid technological shift, unpredictable markets, and also complex human behavior. So traditional frameworks we consider are no longer sufficient in research. So innovation in research, that is no longer optional. So it is the new currency of relevance, impact, and also the intellectual leadership as well. So with this understanding, first I will discuss the conventional wisdom in management research and how innovations in research can challenge the status quo through mixing collaborative approaches, analytical instruments, and enhancement, and via technological innovations as well. So what do you mean by conventional wisdom in management research? So that is the question for today. So conventional wisdom in management research refers to the generally accepted beliefs, theories, approaches, practices, and also methodologies which is widely held within the management field based on theoretical discoveries, empirical evidences, observations, and scholarly studies as well. So this conventional wisdom often represents the consensus of prevailing understanding among researchers and also practitioners and academics within the management discipline. So can we challenge the conventional wisdom in management research? So that is the question for today. Yes, there are instances where the status quo is challenged. For an example, in 1959, if I am not mistaken, Campbell and Piskey laid the foundation for mixed method research, challenging the conventional paradigms such as positivism and interpretivism, stating that two different methodologies is possible, mixing two different methodologies is possible despite their paradigmatic differences. So again in 1970, Benzin highlighted that there are four types of triangulation approaches challenging the status quo. Within the triangulation, within the method triangulation, then investigative triangulation, theoretical triangulation. In again 1988, Jack and Rathore highlighted that multiple triangulation that also can be introduced. And again in 2009, Creswell highlighted 6 mixed method designs challenging the status quo based on 4 criteria: timing, weighting, mixing, and theorizing. So that we have experienced the ways and means of moving beyond the conventional discovery management through previous innovations and also discoveries as well. So as researchers, we should understand how to make innovations in management related research, because we can generate some originality and novelty through innovations in our research. So most of us, so we are complaining that it is really hard to publish in top tier journals and so on. That is just because we are having some kind of weak novelty or less contribution in our research. In order to make contribution, we management research involves several key steps, including staying up to date latest research, for example, management related research, constantly evolve, and also staying up to date with the latest findings and techniques. So that is essential for making innovations in research. So this can involve reading journals, attending conferences as highlighted by the previous speaker, collaborating and networking with other researchers in the field as well. So there are several ways to make innovations in management related research. Some of which I'm going to discuss today is mixing or collaborative strategies, then analytical enhancement, and also third point which I'm going to highlight is technological innovation. So as the brand ambassador for Emerald Publishing South Asian region, so I'm keen on delivering this topic, highlighting the ways and means of making innovations in research. So when we look at mixing of collaborative strategies, first we can proceed with mixing on methodologies we apply in the research. So that should be the proper justification. You can't mix as you want. So most management related issues are abstract concept in nature, you know that. So difficult to measure, abstract in nature. So which can basically make them challenging to define and study as well. So therefore, it is suggested that new research methods such as triangulation be applied, and they provide different ways to investigate a particular problem or particular phenomena in management research. So there should be a proper justification for mixing two different or similar methodologies or designs in management research, related research. So by utilizing triangulation, so you can see the problem from more than, one angle. So you can see the problem from different angles. And also, you can provide a comprehensive answer for the problem you have on your hand. So the rationale for mixing, so that is really important. We are mixing, let's say you are collaborating poly and continuous research, so there should be a sufficient justification, and it should be linked with the nature of the problem as well. So the rationale for mixing, that can be participant enrichment, instrument fidelity, fidelity of intervention, significant enhancement, and also there can be various rationale such as collaboration, enhancing validity, reliability, generalizability, and many more. So the mixing can occur between two different methodologies or two similar research designs as well. So when you are mixing two different methodologies, we call it as mixed method research. When you are basically collaborating two similar research designs, we call it as linear method triangulation or data triangulation. For example, if you are competitive, so you can basically have a correlation design on one hand. On another hand, you can have a certain design and you can discuss collaboration. So collaborative picture. So in addition to that, we can have multiple data collectors, observers, or analysts in a single study as well. So that is in order to minimize the investigator biases. Sometimes we call it as investigator triangulation. So which is another form of collaboration. So in addition to that, we can mix multiple theories that have a similar set of assumptions, meaning that complement the theories, we call it as theoretical triangulation. So in addition to that, we can utilize more than single triangulation strategy, so we call it as multiple triangulation. So there are ample ways for collaboration between and within the methods which we share. So by mixing two methods, so strategies, we can eliminate the weaknesses of one approach by using the strength of other approach. So that's why, even though we say that, so we can't collaborate two different methodologies just because of the paradigmatic differences. So that's why there is the emergence of pragmatism in the research philosophy. So when we discuss about the collaboration between the people, so the question is with whom we should collaborate. So we can collaborate with the people. So the solve all the research, so now there is no value. So you should go for collaboration. Why? So and also how? So the authors could collaborate with their peer researchers in order to have a synergistic effort. So I would like to highlight here that one synergistic approach is there, so the answer should be more than two. So through collaborations, you can improve and innovate your research study based on different expertise. Some researchers are quantitative expert, some are qualitative expert, some are mixed method expert, and some are expert in their respective discipline. Some are analytical experts. If you can collaborate for a common goal of making an innovation, so that will provide a definitive competitive advantage in achieving the same. So in addition to that, collaboration that can happen between the academia and also industry as well. So however, there are, so we can see limited collaborations between the academia and the industry in the South Asian region. However, there are ample collaborations in research between academia and the industry in the Western world. For instance, most higher research degrees such as PhDs are funded by industry in the Western world in order to investigate industry-related issues, but none or very few they are in South Asian region. So suppose we can collaborate with the industry for a common goal of making innovations in research. So in that case, we can see the issues from a practical point of view and make genuine innovations in the entire research process. I'm very happy that South Asian governing entities such as UGC in India specifically have recently taken novel initiative in order to recruit industry people in academia, so such as professor in practice, associate professor in practice, and assistant professor of practice, which will provide definitive innovations in the future. So you will be able to see the problem from a practical perspective. So we will be different. So the collaboration between the theory and practice, that is essential to have that. So you should collaborate with industry and academia. So the last approach for collaboration is between the discipline. So I'm a professor in finance, even though I'm a professor in finance, so I collaborate with other researchers who are in other domains. So management related research often involves range of disciplines, from psychology to neuroscience to sociology to management. So collaborating with experts from fields that can help generate new insights and approaches of studying management behavior and cognition. So that will provide innovations in the entire research process. So the future is for multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary studies. So challenging the status quo, that was part and parcel of my academic career as well. So even though I worked in the industry for more than 17 years and transitioned to the academia entirely as a professor in finance in 2020. So my entire career was in the industry. So I would like to share one of my academic experiences on how I moved beyond conventional wisdom in management research. So when I was doing my PhD at the University of Colombo during 2014-17 period, so I selected David Puzzle as my research area. So as you know, if someone is there who is studying or doing research in finance, David Puzzle or David Quality is one of the most research areas in the finance. You can't make innovations. So it's really hard to make innovations in dividend policy research. So my research questions were the dividend puzzle, so which basically addresses why do companies pay dividends and what are the determinants that basically define the corporate dividend policy. So even though the dividend puzzle has been investigated for decades, more than 7 decades, so the results were controversial not only in similar contexts but in different contexts as well. So in 2014, I considered compounding the same study results using a different approach. I have gone through studies conducted in finance domain. I realized what are the approaches, what are the methodologies we can adopt. So then I realized that so there can be the qualitative approach, quantitative approach, or mixed method approach. So I was thinking, so I'm not a qualitative expert, but I am a quantitative expert. So I can't go ahead with mixed method because I do not have enough qualitative knowledge at that time. So that I was thinking there can be some other methodologies in research as well. So I have gone through methodologies applied in other domains such as nursing, medical, engineering, likewise. So I came across a paper, which is written by Thurman in 2001, which called as the triangulation in research. So that made a difference in my research. So when I have gone through, I studied impact triangulation, and also I have thought that's what in that the sense that is the disease method triangulation. So you apply two similar research design in one approach. For example, if you are a quantitative researcher, so the quantitative research is to call experimental research and non-experimental research design. So you can have experimental research design on one hand, on another hand, non-experimental research design such as survey and collaborate within a single study. So there were no such applications in the finance domain. So then I thought, so wow, I can make innovation if I apply calculation in my daily policy research. But at that time I was thinking, if I basically introduce this approach to the finance, will the experts in the management field or finance field, will they accept my introduction? So I thought of, I mean, collaborating with the number one scholar in the evidence policy research. So I identified that Professor Ken Baker from the American University is the number one and the pioneer in evidence policy research. So I have written to him highlighting that, yes, sir. So we are doing our research through this methodology. This will be the introduction now within the method calculation to the whole finance domain. So in the return, we basically accepted my invitation and we collaborated in 2017. I completed my research utilizing the rate calculation approach, and basically I was later awarded with a mixed method international scholarship by the University of Michigan from Professor John W. Kessel in order to study methodology from Professor John W. Kessel. You know who is John W. Kessel? Kessel is a pioneer mixed method and also pioneering research methodology. So if you are making innovations, so your academic career that can be changed. So I was in the industry, so in that introduction, so I had the opportunity to join the academy as a senior lecturer, subsequently promoted as a professor in finance. So now I am working in both industry and academia. So I'm having a role in a finance company, listed finance company at the Columbus Stock Exchange. So managing a finance organization as a CEO director while serving the university as a professor in finance. So the experience that I gained by challenging the status quo in research was a very challenging experience for me. So and it motivated me to study the research methodology subject further. So with that understanding, so I basically introduced different type in research approaches to the finance. So some of them you can see here, the policy determinants of Sri Lankan bonds, a triangulation approach. So I collaborated with late Professor Baker. So he basically passed it very recently. And also we introduced different approaches to the finance domain together. So the first paper that is published in Managerial Finance, second one that is Qualitative Research in Financial Markets, QRFM by publishing. So I'm not going to highlight further and further. But if you are making collaborations, so that can make wonders in academic career. So the innovations that can be made through the analytical enhancement as well. So innovations through analytical enhancement involve several strategies or methodologies to foster innovation. So I would like to discuss a few strategies that can basically on how to achieve innovations in research through analytical enhancement. So advanced analytical tools, that is one of the analytical enhancements we could ever have. So you can employ state-of-the-art analytical tools and software that facilitate sophisticated data collection, processing and interpretation as well. tools like machine learning algorithm, data mining techniques, and advanced statistical methods that can uncover patterns and insights that might not be apparent through traditional analysis. So that you should be up to date with the knowledge, with the technology, which is essential for the research world now. And also, we can utilize big data and data integration, incorporating big data methodologies in order to process vast amount of information from various sources. So integration of diverse data sets that can unveil correlations and trends that might not be evident when analyzing a smaller or segregated data set as well. In addition to that, we can proceed with predictive analytics, through predictive analytics, so we can implement predictive analytics to forecast trends and outcomes based on historical data. This can guide researchers in identifying potential areas for exploration and innovation as well. In addition to that, you can proceed with experimental design optimization as well. Even though there are different methodologies, even in quantitative research, we do not design of experiments, we call it as DOE, that can help efficiently allocate resources and extract minimal or maximal information from the experiments. So in addition to that, you can proceed with visualization techniques, employ advanced visualization techniques in order to present complex data more understandably and insightfully as well. So visual representation that can reveal patterns and relationships that might be harder to grasp through textual or tabular format as well. So in addition to that, continuous learning and adaptation, so that plays a wider role in analytical enhancement, so that will encourage a culture of continuous learning and adaptation as well. So innovation in research through analytical enhancements often requires some kind of an interdisciplinary collaboration. So if you are an expert in management, expert in other domains, so you should have the other points of view as well. So collaborations between the disciplines or domain that play a vital role, and also a mindset that is required open to exploring new methods and ideas and a blend of cutting-edge technology as well. So combining these strategies that can lead to breakthroughs and advancements in various fields of research. So we can use new technologies also in order to make innovation in research. So that is how we can challenge the status of research. So I'm not going to take more than 30 minutes, so don't worry, so it will not be boring. So I have 6 minutes left. So you utilize the technological innovations, so this can involve using new analytical packages or experimental instruments that might minimize the weaknesses of existing packages or instruments, and also experimenting with new research designs or using new technologies such as virtual reality, augmented reality, brain imaging. So there are several ways new technologies can be leveraged in order to drive innovation in research. So advanced data analytics, so you can use, as I stated earlier, machine learning, data mining, big data analytics in order to derive insights from large data sets. So enabling researchers to identify patterns, trends, and collect correlations that might not be possible through additional methods as well. So, and also high performing computing, so you can proceed with employing robust computing systems in order to simulate complex models, conduct simulations, perform computations that were previously unattainable due to limitations in computational capacity. So if you are researching management, so you should have understanding with regard to the technological innovation. Apply it in your research process. So with a sufficient justification. So then you can make a difference in your research. You are not following what others do. So make a difference in the world, research world. In addition to that, you can proceed with automation and robotics. You can integrate automation and robotics in order to streamline repetitive tasks, accelerate experimental processes, and improve data collection and analysis accuracy as well. But in a region like in third world region like South Asia. So we do not have enough, financial capacity to go ahead with purchasing high-end technology for the entire research process. Even we do not have sometimes access to various databases, but you do have as India, so you are very basically lucky to have, one subscription policy from the government. Likewise, so there are so many avenues where you can utilize and you can learn enhance in the entire research process. So in addition to that, you can basically utilize virtual and augmented reality. So use VR and AR technologies in order to create immersive simulations, enhancing training environments, visualize complex data in new ways, facilitative innovative approaches to research and experimentation as well. In addition to that, utilizing blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and MLP, natural language processing. So automated literature review. So you can automate the literature review, assist in data interpretation, and even generate hypotheses, accelerating the entire research project as well. So by integrating these new technologies into research practices, so scientists and researchers they can explore uncharted territories. So accelerate the pace of discovery and that's on 2 points, so that is essential. In addition to that, the highlighted 3 areas in making your research innovative. So you have to focus on diversity and inclusivity as well. So the reason is that management-related research should strive to be inclusive and representative of diverse populations. So it means considering the race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, socioeconomic status in research design and analysis. By taking an inclusive approach, researchers can generate new insights into how human behavior and cognition vary across different populations as well. In addition to that, so when you are making research, it is really important you prioritize ethical considerations as well. So management-related research that can significantly impact people's lives. So it is essential to prioritize ethical considerations in all aspects of the research process. So this includes obtaining informed consent from all the participants, ensuring participant safety and their privacy, avoiding research practices that could harm or exploit the vulnerable populations as well. So overall, making collaborations or innovations in our research requires a combination of curiosity, creativity, and attention to detail, as well as commitment to staying with the current latest research and using innovative approaches and technologies in order to tackle complex questions. So I expect that researchers attending this conference, so we work on ways and means to innovate in their research for the betterment of the future. So last I would like to congratulate all the paper presenters and the conference team for transparent accomplishment. So the delegates will undoubtedly keep on recollections of the conference with them. So wish you all the very best for the conference team and also the researchers who attended this conference. And thank you very much for inviting me in to deliver this speech. And have a great day.
Assistant Professor, Department of Management, Education, India. On behalf of the organization, all participants, I would like to ask to dedicate you for your highly significant, insightful and inspiring presentation. We were particularly enlightened by your innovation management and also we come to know about the British strategies and ethical aspect and innovation were very useful for researchers and for us. I think today we have got some knowledge which is very unique and it will be very useful for everyone right here. Once again, I would like to give my sincere thanks to you, sir, and in the future also we would like to hear from you. Thank you very much, sir. very soon, our next effort will be joining us. We can be looking for it. That will be our next person is joining us. Take a seat and have some water in it. We are going further vendors.
Yes, I can hear you.
Welcome to our conference, the second of conference. We are very honored to have you here in person. Let me introduce our next speaker, Mr. Jaiswal, sir. My great pleasure to introduce Mr. Jaiswal, Senior Engineering Leader at Institute and former National Technology Leader. He was 60 years of experience in platform engineering, distributed system, and artificial intelligence. Throughout his distinguished career, he has led the development of secure, large-scale technology platforms serving millions of users worldwide. His contributions are AI-driven enterprise solutions, identity systems, data platforms, and application technology. He is also a senior member of IEEE and a complete innovator and an active contributor to the global research and technology community. Today, he continues to inspire engineers and researchers to work with leadership, innovation, and commitment to advancing the responsible use of AI. So, we are very honored and very lucky to talk to you. So, over to you, sir. Start with this. And
Thank you so much for the introduction. It is my great honor to be presenting in front of all of you today. I have some slides prepared for today. I will share them. Is my screen visible? Okay. So today I will be talking about the global perspective on emerging research policies. A quick introduction about myself. Abhinav already introduced myself. I am a global technology leader with deep global industry experience of spanning over 18 years in the field of software engineering. I have worked across high-tech companies like Apple, Intel. When I was in India, I did work for a long time for Infosys, where I worked for Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. I am an active member of senior IEEE, and I have multiple research papers and patent studies myself. I'm an active mentor also, and that's my way of contributing to the community. My journey from India to global technology, some of the key lessons which I feel have helped me grow in my career have been staying curious. Although I have 18 years of experience, continuous learning, as we all know, technology has gone through multiple major changes. We were in the age of early 2000s internet technologies. Then around 2010, 2015, cloud computing changed the technology world dramatically, and now we have VR, which is the reason why all of us as a community have a responsibility to be continuous learning. And then global perspective, while we are growing in our professional careers, we should keep have an open mind so that we can learn about diverse perspective and also about global perspectives, so that we can take it into our professional growth and then communicate according, collaborate back to the community. What I think why research matters is because it helps us in scientific discovery, technology innovation, economic growth, like we are all seeing. AI is opening up significant opportunities for economic growth and social development. Also, it helps addressing global challenges like health, spreading education, having a better environment, and equity. The future of research, as we all know, artificial intelligence is no longer a relatively new field for us. It is accelerating discovery at a very fast pace. Open science, democratizing the data, the methods, and publications globally. Global collaboration is very important. And for example, today me having a privilege to speak in front of you, collaborating with you, talking about my point of view and listening to all of you is a way we can collaborate with all of us. Data-driven discovery, large-scale data sets are enabling newer research methodologies, interdisciplinary research, where, for example, few years back, my expertise used to be cloud computing, but I have evolved myself. Now it is more into things like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. So interdisciplinary research where we go beyond our expertise and do research on multiple fields is important. And then partnership between industry like again, like we are doing here in this in this conference today. AI and knowledge creation, AI, I truly believe, is an accelerator for research. It is fundamentally changing how research is performed. There are various tools available to us. For example, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini. But the responsibility is on us to be ethical in our research, to have transparency and accountability. It should not be used to, let's say, copy ideas or just blindly agree to what AI generates, the content AI generates, but put in our hard work research and use AI as a facilitator. Innovation requires collaboration. Great innovation is rarely a solo effort. It requires collaboration between all these parties, which is researchers, engineers, policymakers, designers, industry experts, and product managers. So in this slide, what I'm trying to convey is that innovation cannot happen in a silo. It needs to happen in collaboration with all of these parties involved. Industry perspective, what global companies these days are looking for. Yeah, no, it is no longer an age where technology only takes us a very long way. Yes, technology helps us in our growth, but our ability to solve problems. So problem solving skills, good communication skills, adaptability and learning agility. So what do I mean over here? Like I said, in early 2000s, internet was the new thing in technology. 10, 15 years from internet, it was cloud technology. Now what we are getting is artificial intelligence. And as industry experts adapt and learn, is what industry is looking for. And then collaboration and leadership. So building a global career, this is my perspective on 6 foundational principles for long-term growth. I have followed this in my career and I wanted to share this perspective with all of you. A strong fundamentals, meaning deep understanding of the core concepts, technical expertise, staying current with the emerging technologies, good communication skills, networking, where we build a strong social network, and professional integrity. Reputation is built over years and lost in moments. So honesty, reliability, ethical conduct are the bedrock for a lasting career. And then lifelong learning. All of us, most of the successful professionals, they treat learning as a habit and not just as a one-off thing. So career opportunities in US, I wanted to share this perspective with all of you. There are many ways to build a career in US. Higher education, pursuing masters or PhD. Then direct employment. There are technology companies where people, especially from India and Asia, are in high demand. Research collaborations, startup and entrepreneurship. Again, something that is very, very highly encouraged in USA. So if you have great ideas, if you want to build something, if you want to innovate, a lot of opportunities to build startups and entrepreneurships over here. Internal company transfers, if somebody is working in a company in India, for example, I used to work in Infosys back in 2007, 2008, and that was how I got my first opportunity where I got transferred here. So that's another way you can build your career. You can travel to US and then build your career in the United States. And then specialized visa. So there are 2 types of specialized visas. Talent visa. One is O1, which stands for extraordinary ability, and then EB1 green card, where you are rewarded for your accomplishments as a researcher, as an engineer. So these are the 6 ways in which you could build a career in the United States. How a student can reach the United States, there are multiple ways. You could do your undergraduate, complete your degree over here, engage in research work, publications, and then graduate study, which is a master's or PhD. What are the skills that are in demand right now? Artificial intelligence and machine learning is no longer a hidden fact. It's in high demand. Cloud computing, data engineering, cybersecurity, software development, obviously, because it is the foundation of everything that is listed above. And then professional skills like communication, leadership, collaboration, and problem solving. These are some of the values that are highly valued in the United States. And I would encourage the audience of this conference today to try and build skill, technical and professional skill around these pillars. What is the importance of research? Let's talk about that. Not only it is a way where we build a more knowledgeable society and we give back to the community, but it builds credibility. That's how it's an easy way to build credibility, put in the hard work, build credibility in the community. Peer-reviewed publications, they signal data. They signal mastery to the R&D committee, to the technology world. So research is a good way to build credibility. It's a good way to demonstrate your expertise in a subject matter, gain good visibility, create collaboration. It's a quick way where you can build collaborative partnerships with industry leaders, innovators, professors of universities. And then it also helps in your immigration pathways like O1, which is extraordinary visa, or EB1 visa. So research has many importance if you are thinking of building a career in the United States, and not only United States, but any government. Let's talk a little bit about O1 visa, which is our way to build a career in the United States. So who is it for? O1 visa is designed for professionals who have risen to the top of the field. Unlike the H1B visa, H1B is an employment visa. It's not a lottery-based visa. It is all about your accomplishments. So researchers, scientists, and engineers, technology innovators, academics and professors, entrepreneurs, IT fellows and award recipients, they have a very strong chance of getting an O1 visa, which is called an extraordinary ability visa. What are the requirements? So you need to have publications, good awards or honors. You should be participating in peer reviews or judging and reviewing opportunities. Media recognition, if your work has been covered by major media houses, or you made original contribution, your work has been adopted by a tech company, or is widely used by a university or a college, that is the original contribution of major significance. But if you work on these 5 pillars, that's how you could work towards an O1 visa. And that opens door for you to build a career in the United States. What are the benefits of O1 visa? There is no annual lottery. It is renewable. So once you get a O1 visa, it can be renewed in increments of 1 year. Faster processing time. If you have all these abilities and if you qualify for the visa, then you can get the visa in 15 days. Flexible employment, you are not tied, you can have concurrent more than one employer. And you're not tied to a particular employer alone. And it is suited for achievers. So researchers and people with professionals with extraordinary ability, it is designed for that. EB1A green card is very similar to O1 visa, but it's a pathway for getting a green card and building a long-lasting career in the United States. So what is EB1A? It is one of the most prestigious and coveted immigration pathways available in the United States. It grants lawful permanent residence. So that's the difference between O1 visa and EB1A, where O1 visa is a temporary visa, but EB1A is a pathway for permanent residence. And why it matters for researchers, because you don't have employer dependency. You don't need perm labor certification. Perm labor certification, again, is a very long process which somebody has to go through if you are not filing for a green card under an EB1 category. And then priority dates are often current, meaning the time frame it means someone needs to get an EB1A green card is way faster than EB2 and EB3. And the pathway for citizenship is around 5 to 6 years. So if you get an EB1A green card, you could also become a United States citizen in way lesser time than an EB2 or EB3. And your family also is included in EB1. How can you build your profile around for EB1A? Around these 9 pillars. Having good research publications, high citations, if you have patents, if you have won awards and recognitions, if you are speaking in top reputed conferences, if you're reviewing journals, playing leadership role, your work is covered in reputed media, or making original contribution in forms of innovation, patents, or something that is adopted industry-wide or at prestigious colleges. So again, a summary of the previous slide. How do you build a profile for EB1A? EB1 is getting a green card in the United States and building a career in the United States is publishing and presenting your work, reviewing others' work and judging. Judging can also come in form of, let's say, conference judging or hackathon judging, joining IEEE or other professional body like BCS or IET, and building a professional profile through which you could show that you have extraordinary abilities. While I spoke quite a lot about the United States, but India, our country, has great opportunity. We are forced to become a global innovation leader with a 1.4 billion population, a strong startup ecosystem. It is the third largest startup ecosystem globally, and there is government and private sector R&D investments are growing rapidly. So, I spoke a lot about the United States and building a career in the United States, but our own country, India, is like not a bad option. There are a lot of growth opportunities and building a very strong career in India. Research policy priorities for the future ecosystem are point of view is usage of ethical AI, government AI development with transparent, accountable, and human-centered frameworks. Open science, making research data measured and findings freely accessible across the knowledge. Global collaboration, good funding for innovation, industry partnerships, and research accessibility. My message to the young researchers today in this conference and whoever is listening to my presentation is stay curious, let questions drive you further than answers ever would. Learn continuously, knowledge evolves rapidly. Commit to lifelong learning across disciplines and methodology. Don't just limit yourself in your area of expertise, try to explore beyond your area of expertise. Collaborate widely. Let's say if you are a researcher or a professor, don't limit within your community. Try to build connections, collaborate with industry professionals as well. And same applies to industry professionals where they should try to build collaboration with researchers, professors as well. Communicate clearly while you're building your career around research, around technology. Build good communication skills as well, and create impact. What is the true purpose of research? In my point of view, research is not merely about discovering knowledge. It is about creating opportunities, solving problems, and improving lives. For researchers, your work is not only confined to laboratory or journals. It's a ripple effect. What you do as a part of the research, it shapes policies, industries, in societies, and society in ways you may never predict. So the research that you do is very important for not only your growth, country's growth, society. It has a very long-lasting impact on the society as well. And for the policymakers and for leaders, invest in research infrastructure, open access, and ethical governance, because the returns are measured not in quarters, but in generations. Thank you for patiently listening to my presentation today. I would urge and request everybody to stay curious, keep learning, keep innovating. It has been my privilege today to share my ideas with you. I am honored to be presenting in front of all of you. Thank you for this opportunity. With that, I come to the end of my presentation.
So we are very, very much thankful to the academics because so many knowledge and I hope that knowledge will be very good for all the researchers. It's a happy one. We are very honored to all the knowledge, all the these all will be very helpful. Again, thank you very much for that.
Thank you once again for the opportunity.
Over to Dr. Kumar Arman for further conclusion.
Thank you so much, sir. Very warm and beautiful good morning to all of you. Respected Director, Sir Dr. V.K. Agrawal, sir. Dr. Amit Agrawal, sir, Administrator and HOD, Agraseen College. Dr. Divya Shukla, ma'am, Chairperson Vitrag Research Foundation. Principal Dr. Y.K. Rajput, sir, Agraseen Mahavidyalaya. Dr. Dolly Pandey ma'am, IQAC coordinator, Dr. Roli Tiwari ma'am, advisory board with RAG Research Foundation, all faculties, dignitaries, and all research scholars. Today, we welcome you all in second day of International Conference on Global Perspectives on Emerging Research Policies, which is jointly organized by Research Cell Commerce, Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and Vitrag Research Foundation in association with ITFA University, Government Naveen College, Vivekanand College, and Mahant Lakshmi Narayan Das College. Today we have total 7 technical sessions in which 4 online sessions are already done, and now it's time for offline paper presentation where innovative ideas or scholarly contributions come together. Research gains significance when it is shared. With this spirit, I would like to start this offline session. And for this, as a chairperson, I would like to call Dr. Dolly Pandey ma'am as a chairperson and Dr. Roli Tiwari ma'am to please do the work of chairpersons in offline session. All scholars, before we start the technical session, please note that you have only 5 minutes for presentation. In 5 minutes, you have to complete your presentation. Whether it is, if you want to give presentation through screen, so you should submit your pen drive priorly so that we can maintain the time and decorum. So first, I would like to call Miss Anjali Majumdar, research scholar, and her topic is From Household Wisdom to Financial Awareness Among Working Women. So please, Anjali, come on the stage. And for time, Rafiq sir is requested to please see the time so that we can do the work proper. Change it. Rafiq sir, pointer. इसको मेरे को दे दीजिए बाद में तो no problem.
Huh. Sir, you will be changing slides. Pointer ये वाला आगे के लिए नीचे के लिए. Okay. Okay. Can I do?
Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ms. Anjali Majumdar from Mahant Lakshmi Narayan Das College. My supervisor, Dr. Shantanu Paul. I'll be presenting topic From Household Wisdoms to Working Women. Let me begin with a question. When we talk about financial literacy, do we mean what is taught in schools governments, banks. Millions of women across India have been managing household economics. They have been saving, budgeting, and they are doing actually which are being done in a formal banking sectors. But these women are not knowing. So my topic, what I tried in this research paper, is there any way to connect the indigenous knowledge system with the formal banking system? Now here, indigenous knowledge system, with this I mean that small savings which working woman does at home, or the women who are working in the rural areas, they are doing some chit funds, and or maybe they are rolling their money within their small communities. Is there any way we can coordinate these women to the formal financial sector? This is what I try to find in this research papers. So let me begin in this. The concept of indigenous knowledge in household finance, it refers to financial practices that communities have developed over the years. Practices like chit funds, self-help groups, barter systems, informal saving systems. All these women, they are doing it, and these informations are being passed to them generation wise. But now, can we find a way so that these women who are doing this small savings, or they are just using in informal way, how can we connect them to the formal way without making them feel so alien about this new things? The objectives of my studies, I tried on 6 objectives. Since I don't have that much time, so I'll be taking it very quickly. First, I tried to identify the barriers. I tried to identify the challenges that are coming that prevent women from making this transition. Now, transition means from how can they, get into the formal banking systems or financial systems, or maybe how can they start investing in mutual funds and all. Then I try to analyze the existing financial literacy programs which are already running. I also try to study on some like Jan Dhan Yojanas and all those banking schemes, financial schemes running for the women in rural India. So what I found after going through this, because I have taken the review literature from 2012 to 2025, going through that, the findings I got, the key findings. First, I found that working women with household exposures to indigenous financial practices, they are usually diverted into chit funds, then self-help groups, and they have shown the good habits of savings, but they are not knowing how can they multiply their income. Second, what I found that financial knowledge in Indian households is transmitted along the gendered line. That means although women are working, but still when it comes to the financial decision, it is still in the hands of men of their house. So there a lot can be done. Third, what I found, there's a significant structural continuity between indigenous and formal systems. What I mean from this, these women, if they are working with SHGs, if they're contributing their amount in chit funds regularly on a basis, if I associate with formal systems, we are also doing in the form of recurring deposits in bank. So how can we make them aware that they can multiply their income if they invest in banks or financial markets? Fourth, what I found, structural barriers remain significant. Now here, structural barriers, I mean, they have a very limited digital access. They have a very limited knowledge area in this. And of course, not having that much confidence also. That's the point. And the fifth, I found that majority of existing financial literacy programs present formal concepts without engaging women's existing knowledge. It's not like that women are not knowing the saving habits or investing habits. Okay. But all I want that how can we associate in the formal way? Okay, with this, I would like to conclude that as India advances its financial inclusion goals, everyone knows the financial inclusion right these days. Agenda integrating, we need to work on the agenda where we can integrate indigenous financial knowledge into formal literacy programs advancing women's financial awareness is a matter of justice. We need to empower them by giving them the way so that they can multiply their income. They should be associated with the formal systems. We can hire Anganwadi workers or Asha workers. This way, it will give them more confidence to work or to invest in this formal products, financial products. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Anjali. Now it's time to call second presenter, Mr. Anshu Datta, who is a research scholar of Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and his topic is डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धतियों के बदलते उपयोग का नगद व्यवहार पर प्रभाव का अध्ययन. Please, Anshu, come on the stage for your presentation.
थैंक यू मैम फॉर गिविंग मी अपॉर्चुनिटी. मेरा नाम अंशु दत्ता है. मैं डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धति पर टॉपिक है और मेरे गाइड डॉक्टर अमित अग्रवाल सर है. मेरा टॉपिक है डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धति के बढ़ते उपयोग का नगद व्यवहार पर प्रभाव का अध्ययन. हम देख रहे हैं कि ऑनलाइन पेमेंट का जैसे जैसे यूजेस बढ़ते जा रहा है उसका पूरा इफेक्ट कहीं ना कहीं कैश पर पड़ ही रहा है, लेकिन कैश को पूरी तरह फिनिश नहीं किया जा सकता है. दोनों की ही उपयोगिता है, लेकिन हर चीज़ का डिजिटलाइजेशन होने के कारण नगद पर कहीं ना कहीं प्रभाव पड़ ही रहा है. तो मैंने इसलिए इस टॉपिक को लिया है. तो मैं शोध सार प्रस्तुत करना चाहूँगा. वर्तमान डिजिटल युग में डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धतियों का बढ़ता उपयोग नगद लेन देन के स्वरूप एवं भुगतान व्यवहार में महत्वपूर्ण परिवर्तन उत्पन्न कर रहा है. प्रस्तुत अध्ययन का उद्देश्य डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धतियों एवं नगद व्यवहार के मध्य संबंध एवं उनके प्रभाव का विश्लेषण करना है. यह शोध मात्रात्मक, वर्णनात्मक एवं विश्लेषणात्मक शोध पद्धति पर आधारित है, जिसमें प्राथमिक आंकड़ों का उपयोग किया गया है. इस अध्ययन हेतु 150 उत्तरदाताओं को गूगल फॉर्म के माध्यम से भेजा गया, जिसमें से 104 ने प्रश्नावली पूर्ण की और इसमें मैंने 5 लिकर्ट स्किल क्वेश्चन पूछे थे. उत्तरदाताओं का चयन सरल यादृच्छिक नमूनाकरण विधि द्वारा किया गया. एकत्रित आंकड़ों का विश्लेषण SPSS सॉफ्टवेयर के माध्यम से किया गया. प्रारंभिक चरण में वर्णनात्मक सांख्यिकी का उपयोग करते हुए माध्य, मानक विचलन, विषमता एवं पृथु शिष्यत्व के आधार पर आंकड़ों की संरचना एवं समानता का विश्लेषण किया गया. तत्पश्चात सहसंबंध या गतिगमन विश्लेषण, कोरिलेशन एंड रिग्रेशन के माध्यम से मैंने उनके संबंध एवं प्रभाव का विश्लेषण किया और 0.05 महत्व स्तर पर परिकल्पनाओं की जांच की गई. परिणामों से स्पष्ट है कि डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धतियों एवं नगद व्यवहार के मध्य महत्वपूर्ण संबंध विद्यमान है. डिजिटल भुगतान के बढ़ते उपयोग ने नगद लेन एवं भुगतान व्यवहार को प्रभावित किया है. साथ ही डिजिटल भुगतान के बढ़ते उपयोग के परिणाम स्वरूप नगद व्यवहार में महत्वपूर्ण परिवर्तन हुआ है. अध्ययन से स्पष्ट है कि वर्तमान परिस्थितियों में डिजिटल एवं नगद दोनों भुगतान माध्यमों की उपयोगिता बनी हुई है. भुगतान प्रणाली को और अधिक सरल और संतुलित बनाए जाने की आवश्यकता है. यद्यपि यह अध्ययन सीमित उत्तरदाताओं तक केंद्रित रहा है, फिर भी इसके निष्कर्ष भुगतान व्यवहार को समझने में उपयोगी आधार प्रदान करते हैं. इस संदर्भ में डिजिटल एवं नगद लेन देन से संबंधित व्यवहारिक, सामाजिक एवं आर्थिक पहलुओं पर अधिक व्यापक अध्ययन किया जाना आवश्यक है. इसके उद्देश्य मैंने 3 उद्देश्य रखे थे. पहला उद्देश्य डिजिटल भुगतान एवं नगद व्यवहार के मध्य संबंधों का अध्ययन करना और इसके उपयोग के बढ़ते हुए प्रभाव का अध्ययन करना, और तीसरा था इसका परिवर्तन पर क्या अध्ययन हो रहा है और इसी के आधार पे निष्कर्ष में रखना चाहूंगा. ये शोध के विश्लेषण जो मैंने किए हैं और वर्णनात्मक सांख्यिकी विश्लेषण किया है, मैं सीधा निष्कर्ष पर आ जाता हूँ। प्रस्तुत अध्ययन में डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धति के बढ़ते उपयोग और नगद व्यवहार के मध्य प्रभाव का विश्लेषण किया। अध्ययन के निष्कर्षों से ज्ञात हुआ कि डिजिटल भुगतान की बढ़ती स्वीकार्यता ने डिजिटल भुगतान प्रवृत्तियों में उल्लेखनीय परिवर्तन उत्पन्न किया है। उत्तरदाताओं ने डिजिटल भुगतान को सुविधा, तीव्रता एवं सरलता की दृष्टि से उपयोगी माना है, जबकि नगद को विशेष परिस्थितियों और छोटे भुगतान के लिए अभी भी आवश्यक माध्यम के रूप में स्वीकार किया गया है। सांख्यिकी विश्लेषण से स्पष्ट हुआ है कि डिजिटल भुगतान का नगद लेन देन में भुगतान का महत्वपूर्ण प्रभाव पड़ता है और इसके विस्तार के साथ नगद पर निर्भरता में क्रमिक कमी देखी जा रही है। अध्ययन यह भी परिलक्षित हुआ कि उपभोक्ताओं की भुगतान प्राथमिकताओं में धीरे धीरे डिजिटल माध्यमों की ओर झुकाव बढ़ रहा है। समग्र रूप से यह कहा जा सकता है कि डिजिटल भुगतान पद्धतियां भुगतान व्यवहार की संरचना को परिवर्तित कर रही है, यद्यपि नगद की प्रासंगिकता वर्तमान समय में पूर्णतः समाप्त नहीं हुई है। अंत में इतना ही कहना चाहूंगा कि ऑनलाइन पेमेंट का भी जितना महत्व है उतना नगद व्यवहार का भी महत्व है। दोनों की ही उपयोगिता है। हम अपनी आवश्यकता अनुसार इसका उपयोग कर सकते हैं और ऑनलाइन पेमेंट का हम देख रहे हैं कि विस्तार काफी बढ़ रहा है। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Anshu. Now, next name is Vinod Kumar Pandey, research scholar from Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and his topic for paper presentation is Emerging Research Policies for AI in Marketing Opportunities and Regulatory Challenges in Electronic Goods Sales in Raipur.
मैम, मैं सभी पार्टिसिपेंट से कहना चाहूंगी कि आप अपना टाइटल पढ़ें, आपकी मेथोडोलॉजी डिटेल में पढ़ लें, जिसमें आप अपना परिकल्पना या आपका जो भी ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, उद्देश्य हैं, उसको भी इंक्लूड करें और डायरेक्टली आपके रिजल्ट एंड कंक्लूजन पे जाएं। स्टार्टिंग से आपका एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ना या रिव्यू ऑफ लिटरेचर की तरफ आप ना जाएं। डेफिनेटली उन स्लाइड्स को कुछ सेकंड के लिए दिखा दें पैनल को, लेकिन उसको पढ़िए नहीं। इससे आप एग्जैक्ट जो प्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं वो प्रेजेंट कर पाएंगे, नहीं तो 5 मिनट इतने कम हो गए कि आप केवल अपना एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ करके ही पूरा समय खत्म हो जाता है। इस चीज का ध्यान रखें पार्टिसिपेंट्स।
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
मूव नहीं हो रहा है। Good afternoon, everyone present here. I am presenting a collaborative research on emerging research policies for AI in marketing, co-authored with Dr. Amit Kumar Agarwal, my mentor and guide. While AI in retail is a global topic, we are focusing on a highly localized, critical context. The electronics retail sector in Raipur, a rapidly growing Tier 2 Indian city. Our goal is to show what happens with advanced data-hungry marketing algorithms meet local self-run enterprises under India's new digital privacy regime. The problems and the research gap. In Tier 2 cities like Raipur, the reality is a mixed retail ecosystem where large national chains coexist right next to traditional MSMEs. A lack of empirical data on Tier 2 AI adoption, a lack of clarity on how to balance personalization with data privacy, a severe operational divide between national legislation like the DPDP Act 2023 and the capacity of local shops owner on the ground. Research objectives, we formulated 5 hypotheses testing the association between the firm, size, personalization, transparency, privacy concerns, and regulatory compliances. We used a convergent mixed method design quantitatively with surveyed 120 electronic retailers. We conducted 8 depth interviews with store managers, METY consultants, and IT officials. Findings. National chain stores are utilizing an average of nearly 3 AI tools per store. MSMEs average only 0.72. Further, when MSMEs do opt AI, it is strictly basic customer-facing technology like WhatsApp, chatbots, etc. The deep predictive backend algorithm that optimize inventory and pricing remain entirely out of reach. In finding 2, the customer trust paradox. 64% of consumers agree that AI-driven personalized offers save their time. Yet only 41.5% actually trust those recommendations. Why? Because 63% have no idea how their personal data is being stored or used. Finding 3, drivers of purchase intention. Meanwhile, personalization on its own was statistically significant. Here we can see beta is equal to 0.15 and p-value is 0.09. Crucially, our interaction model showed that high privacy concerns actively kill the sales benefits of personalization. Beta is equal to minus 0.29 and the p-value is less than 0.05. The takeaway for marketers is clear. If you do not build a foundation of transparency, your personalization algorithm will actually not work. Finding 4, the compliance resource gap. As a local electronic store owners told us, no one from the government has explained this law to us. The owners are unaware about the laws which are being laid down by the authorities, like DPDC Act I told previously.
Last minute.
So policy recommendations, simplified ethic codes, capacity hubs to be built up, transparency mandates, MSME technology funds to be raised for the small business houses, data stewardship pilots to be run. Theoretically and practical impacts. You can see we have impacts on these 3 theory, practice, and policy makers. Limitations and future research. While limited by its cross-sectional nature and focus on Raipur's electronic sector, this study lays the groundwork for future longitudinal tracking and experimental testing of visual transparency labels in physical stores. Conclusion, to conclude, AI is growing, but it is deeply unequal. Consumers want efficiency, but they demand transparency as well. And right now, our local MSMEs are legally exposed. We must remember the greatest competitive advantage in the AI era won't be the sharpest algorithm. It will be the most trusted one. Thank you very much for patiently hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod Pane sir, for beautiful presentation. Now, next name is Shriya Pandey, research scholar from Vivekanand Mahavidyalaya, and her topic is Open Science versus Data Sovereignty, Emerging Policy Traditions in the Global Perspectives.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Myself, Shriya Pandey, research scholar under Jagannath Saha Sir of Vivekanand Mahavidyalaya, Raipur, would like to present on the topic Open Science versus Data Sovereignty, Emerging Policy Tensions in the Global Research Landscape. As rapid growth of digital technologies and data-driven research has transformed the global research ecosystem, open science promotes transparency, accessibility, collaboration, and unrestricted sharing of research outputs, including publication, data sets, and methodologies. The primary objective is to improve research quality, enhance reproducibility, accelerate innovation, and democratize access to scientific knowledge. International initiatives such as UNESCO Open Science Recommendation has strengthened this movement in the worldwide sense. On the same level, the countries like in US has also adopt data sovereignty policies to ensure that data generated within their jurisdictions remain under national control. The policies focus on protecting privacy, national security, economic interest, and strategic autonomy through the measures such as data localization, cybersecurity, and restrictions on cross-border data transfer. The coexistence of open science and data sovereignty has created significant policy tensions. While open science encourages unrestricted access to resource data, however, data sovereignty emphasizes on control and protection. My study identifies the major research gap that altogether open science and data sovereignty has been widely studied independently. Limited attention has been given to the interaction within research governance framework. Using knowledge common theory, data governance theory, and institutional theory, the paper examines how the competing approaches influence international collaboration, innovation, data access, government in effectiveness. The findings are as follows. Neither complete openness nor excessive restriction can effectively support modern research. The balanced governance framework is required, including data governance, trusted research environment, international standards, responsible open science practices, and capacity building initiative. I would like to conclude by saying that the future of global research depends on achieving the balance between openness and sovereignty, and shows both scientific progress and responsible data governance. Thank you.
Thank you, Shreya, for your wonderful presentation. From the podium, I would like to welcome Dr. V.K. Agrawal, sir, Director, Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, Principal Dr. Yulendra Kumar Rajput, sir, Agrasen Mahavidyalaya. Next paper presenter name is Ekta Thakur, Research Scholar, Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and her topic is युवाओं में रोजगार परक कौशल विकसित कर उनके आर्थिक विकास को बढ़ावा देने में वैश्विक शोध नीतियों की भूमिका। आप इस विषय पर अपना प्रेजेंटेशन देना चाह रहे हैं तो वेलकम एकता ठाकुर।
आप सभी को नमस्कार। मेरा नाम एकता ठाकुर है। मेरे शोध निर्देशक है डॉक्टर युलेंद्र कुमार राजपूत सर, प्राचार्य अग्रसेन महाविद्यालय पुरानी बस्ती रायपुर। मेरा शोध पत्र का विषय है युवाओं में रोजगारपरक कौशल विकसित कर उनके आर्थिक विकास को बढ़ावा देने में वैश्विक शोध नीतियों की भूमिका। वर्तमान वैश्विक युग में रोजगार प्राप्ति हेतु केवल पारंपरिक शिक्षा ही पर्याप्त नहीं है, अपितु आर्थिक प्रगति के लिए शिक्षा के साथ कौशल का होना भी महत्वपूर्ण है, क्योंकि तीव्र तकनीकी विकास ने रोजगार प्राप्ति को चुनौतीपूर्ण बना दिया है। उद्योगों एवं व्यावसायिक नियोक्ताओं को अब ऐसे कर्मचारियों की आवश्यकता रहती है जो काम करने में तकनीकी एवं व्यवहारिक रूप से कुशल हो। इसलिए वैश्विक शोध नीतियों में डिजिटल साक्षरता, उद्यमिता विकास, व्यावसायिक प्रशिक्षण जैसे रोजगार परक कौशल को शामिल किया जा रहा है, ताकि युवाओं में संचार कौशल, नेतृत्व क्षमता, समस्या समाधान, आत्मनिर्भरता जैसे गुण विकसित हो सके। इस शोध पत्र में द्वितीयक आंकड़ों का उपयोग किया गया है, जिसमें 2005 से 2023 तक के आंकड़ों को शामिल किया गया है, जिसके माध्यम से वैश्विक शोध नीतियों तथा भारत में राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति 2020 एवं कौशल विकास को बढ़ावा देने वाले योजनाओं के प्रयासों का अध्ययन किया गया है, जिससे ज्ञात हुआ कि वैश्विक शोध नीतियां नवाचार, डिजिटल परिवर्तन, सतत विकास लक्ष्यों की प्राप्ति, कौशल विकास पर जोर दे रही हैं, ताकि शोध कार्यों को पारदर्शिता के साथ हर वर्ग के लोगों के लिए सुलभ बनाया जा सके। शिक्षा संस्थानों में भी उद्योगों की मांग अनुरूप कौशल शिक्षा प्रदान कर रोजगार प्राप्ति एवं आर्थिक विकास में योगदान दिया जा रहा है, जिसका सकारात्मक परिणाम देखने को मिला है। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद एकता. Now it's time to announce next paper presenter. I want to call Lata Patel, research scholar, Agrasena Mahavidyalaya, to come on the stage and present a paper on the topic वैश्विक स्तर पर उभरती हुई अनुसंधान नीति का ग्रीन बैंकिंग पर प्रभाव. जोरदार तालियां की कमी महसूस हो रही है. हमारे पेपर प्रेजेंटर्स बहुत मेहनत करके उन्होंने पेपर्स तैयार किया है, तो प्लीज जोरदार तालियों से सभी का स्वागत करेंगे.
थैंक यू मैम. गुड आफ्टरनून सर एंड मैम. मेरे शोध का टॉपिक है वैश्विक स्तर पर उभरती हुई अनुसंधान नीति का ग्रीन बैंकिंग पर प्रभाव. वैश्विक स्तर पर उभरती हुई अनुसंधान नीति का उद्देश्य मुख्य रूप से ग्रीन बैंकिंग जैसे नवोन्मेषी पहलों को बढ़ावा देना है. इस नीति के तहत ग्रीन बैंकिंग अनुसंधान को वित्तीय और संस्थागत समर्थन मिलेगा, जिससे पर्यावरणीय और सतत विकास वाले वित्तीय मॉडल विकसित हो सकेंगे. इसके परिणाम स्वरूप ग्रीन बैंकिंग का विस्तार होगा और भारत वैश्विक स्तर पर स्थिरता और नवाचार में एक अग्रणी भूमिका निभा सकेगा. यह नीति उभरते शोधकर्ताओं को वित्तीय सहायता, तकनीकी संसाधन और संस्थागत सहयोग प्रदान करेगी, जिससे देश में अनुसंधान की गुणवत्ता और मात्रा दोनों में वृद्धि होगी. वर्तमान समय में जलवायु परिवर्तन, कार्बन उत्सर्जन तथा पर्यावरणीय संकटों को देखते हुए विभिन्न देशों की सरकारें और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संस्थाएं हरित एवं सतत विकास को प्राथमिकता दे रही हैं. इसी उद्देश्य से अनुसंधान आधारित नीतियों को बढ़ावा दिया जा रहा है, जिनका सीधा प्रभाव बैंकिंग क्षेत्र पर भी दिखाई देता है. नई अनुसंधान नीतियों के अंतर्गत नवीकरणीय ऊर्जा, हरित तकनीक, इलेक्ट्रिक वाहन, ऊर्जा संरक्षण तथा कार्बन न्यूनीकरण पर व्यापक शोध किए जा रहे हैं. इन शोधों के आधार पर बैंक अब सौर ऊर्जा, पवन ऊर्जा और ग्रीन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर जैसी परियोजनाओं में निवेश बढ़ा रहे हैं. इससे ग्रीन फाइनेंस और ग्रीन बॉन्ड जैसे वित्तीय साधनों का विस्तार हुआ है. अनुसंधान नीतियों के कारण बैंक पर्यावरणीय जोखिमों का आकलन करने में भी अधिक सक्षम हुए हैं. हालांकि विकासशील देशों में तकनीकी संसाधनों की कमी, उच्च लागत और जागरूकता का अभाव ग्रीन बैंकिंग के प्रभावी क्रियान्वयन में बाधा बनते हैं. फिर भी वैश्विक अनुसंधान नीतियां ग्रीन बैंकिंग को नई दिशा प्रदान कर रही हैं और भविष्य में सतत आर्थिक विकास को मजबूत बनाने में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाएंगी. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Lata. Now, next name which I want to announce is Vidhi Chhabra, research scholar from Agrasena Mahavidyalaya, and her topic for paper presentation is India Research Ecosystem, a systematic review of challenges and opportunities. Welcome, Vidhi.
Thank you, Shobha ma'am.
Very good afternoon to all the dignitaries present over here, chairperson, assistant professor, and all my fellow research scholar. I, Vidhi Chabra, research scholar of Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, under the guidance of my guide, Dr. Yulendra Kumar Rajput sir. I am here to present a paper on the topic India's research ecosystem. Under this topic, I have done a systematic review of various challenges and opportunities which India faces in the research ecosystem. So as we know, India research ecosystem is very essential for fostering innovation, knowledge creation, and for sustainable national development. India has made noticeable progress in expanding its higher education institutions, research facilities, and scientific output. However, I have seen several challenges still continue to affect the overall effectiveness. So to find out the various challenges and what all possible opportunities are there to enhance the India's research ecosystem. So for this, I have formulated 4 objectives of my study. First, I have examined the India's research ecosystem. Secondly, I have identified various challenges which India is being facing in this context. And then I have analyzed various opportunities in this regards. And lastly, I have suggested the policy measures. So after doing various literature reviews, I have found that most of these studies focuses on individual aspects. Limited comprehensive reviews are still missing, which integrate both challenges and opportunities together. So with systematic review of secondary data from various journals, policy documents, reports, and scholarly publications, I have identified various challenges like there is inadequate funding, then we have infrastructure gap also, then we have brain drain, which is also one of the major challenge. We have weak industrial academic collaborations. So these are few of the challenges which I have found, which leads the research ecosystem to work on this basis. And major opportunities are like which India is working on to this research ecosystem is NEP Policy 2020, National Research Foundation, AI and digital technologies are being introduced by various government sectors. A new startup ecosystem is being organized. So ultimately, my finding is research output is growing, but still funding, infrastructure, and collaboration remains key concerns. Technology and policy reforms offer growth opportunities, so we should work on to this. So my suggestions onto this research paper is we have to increase the R&D investments, we have to strengthen the infrastructure, we have to simplify the procedures and make it common to all, accessible to all. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vidhi, for your paper presentation. Next name which I want to announce is Ms. Devika Parmar ma'am, Assistant Professor from Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and her topic is Redefining Academic Ecosystem Strategic Paradigm of Digital Transformation in Research and Higher Education. Welcome, Devika ma'am, for your paper presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to all of you over present here. I, Devika Parmar, Assistant Professor, Commerce or Management Department from Agrasen Mahavidyalaya. I am going to present abstract on the topic Redefining Academic Ecosystem Strategic Paradigm of Digital Transformation in Research and Higher Education. The contemporary landscape of higher education and scholarly research is undergoing a profound paradigm shift driven by rapid technological advancement. Digital transformation has evolved from a supplementary operational tool into a core strategic imperative. The fundamentally reconfigures knowledge production and institutional governance. This paper critically examines the multi-phase dimensions of digital transformation within higher education institution and its broader implications for the global research ecosystem. By exploring the integration of advancement digital infrastructure, this study highlights how technology democratic access to information while accelerating the pace of scientific discovery. The analysis delves into the dual nature of this transformation, balancing its immense opportunities against systematic challenges. On one hand, digitalization fosters global researches collaboration, enhances open access repositories, and optimizes institutional workflows, including widening digital divides across geographical regions, escalating cybersecurity threats, and complex dilemmas surrounding data privacy and governance. Furthermore, the paper addressed the critical need for robust policy framework that governs ethical AI utilization and intellectual property rights in an increasingly virtual academic environment. Ultimately, this study posits that successful digital transformation is not merely a technological upgrade but a structural and cultural evolution. It requires productive capacity building, equity focused funding mechanism, and policy intervention to ensure that developing research ecosystem can fully participate in the global knowledge economy. By aligning digital strategies with sustainable development goals, higher education institutions can cultivate inclusion, resilient and highly impactful research environment tailored to the demand of the 21st century. Thank you.
Thank you, Devika ma'am, for your paper presentation. Next name which I want to announce is Aparajita Sharma. She is a research scholar from Max University and her topic for paper presentation is डिजिटल मार्केटिंग अनुसंधान में डेटा गोपनीयता और उपभोक्ता संरक्षण, उभरती वैश्विक नीतियों का अध्ययन।
थैंक यू मैम। आप सभी को मेरा सादर नमस्कार। मेरा नाम अपराजिता शर्मा है। मैं मैथ्स यूनिवर्सिटी से रिसर्च स्कॉलर हूँ। मेरी मार्गदर्शक है डॉक्टर प्राप्ति मैम। मेरे शोध का विषय है डिजिटल मार्केटिंग अनुसंधान में डेटा गोपनीयता और उपभोक्ता संरक्षण, उभरती वैश्विक नीतियों का अध्ययन। आज के डिजिटल युग में कंपनियों उपभोक्ताओं के व्यवहार, रुचियों और व्यक्तिगत जानकारी का उपयोग करके अत्यधिक व्यक्तिगत विज्ञापन तैयार कर रही है, जिससे उपभोक्ताओं की गोपनीयता, डेटा सुरक्षा और डेटा के दुरुपयोग से जुड़ी कई चिंताएं भी सामने आई हैं। इसी कारण दुनिया भर की सरकारें डेटा सुरक्षा और उपभोक्ता संरक्षण के लिए नए कानून बना रही है। इस अध्ययन का मुख्य उद्देश्य यह जानना है कि जीडीपीआर, जीपीडीपी एक्ट और सीसीपीए जैसी उभरती वैश्विक नीतियां डिजिटल मार्केटिंग अनुसंधान को किस प्रकार प्रभावित कर रही तथा उपभोक्ताओं के अधिकारों की सुरक्षा में उनकी क्या भूमिका है। यह एक द्वितीयक स्रोतों पर आधारित वर्णनात्मक एवं विश्लेषणात्मक अध्ययन है। अध्ययन यह बताता है कि नई डेटा गोपनीयता नीतियां कंपनियों को डेटा न्यूनतमीकरण, स्पष्ट सहमति और पारदर्शिता जैसे सिद्धांत अपनाने के लिए प्रेरित कर रही है। हालांकि इन नियमों के कारण कंपनियों की अनुपालन लागत बढ़ी है, लेकिन दीर्घकाल में ये नीतियां उपभोक्ताओं का विश्वास बढ़ाने और नैतिक विपणन को प्रोत्साहित करने में सहायक सिद्ध हो रही हैं। अंत में मेरा सुझाव है कि डिजिटल मार्केटिंग के क्षेत्र में डेटा गोपनीयता और उपभोक्ता संरक्षण केवल कानूनी आवश्यकता नहीं बल्कि उपभोक्ता विश्वास और टिकाऊ व्यवसाय का आधार बन चुके हैं, जिससे भविष्य में निश्चित रूप से दूरगामी प्रभाव परिलक्षित होंगे। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Aparajita. Now, next participant is Jigyasa Parmar. She is Assistant Professor in Social Work Department, Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and her topic for paper presentation is Navigating Growth, Challenges and Opportunities in the Research Ecosystem of Developing Countries. Welcome, Jigyasa ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, all present over here. Myself, Jigyasa Parmar. I am an assistant professor of Social Work Department. My topic is navigating growth in the research ecosystem of developing challenges and opportunities countries. The research ecosystem in developing countries is at critical juncture, criticized by a complex interplay between systematic challenges and emerging opportunities, with these involving examining the structural challenges and emerging opportunities within this evolving landscape, alligating with the global push of inclusive and substantial development. Historically, research institutions in the global south have grabbed with constraints, including chronic understanding, developing infrastructure, and the absence of robust policies, framework, and weak industries. Academia collaboration have frequently led to isolated research output that fail to translate into tangible socio-economic benefit or scalable local innovation. However, these challenges are integratively and being made with transformative opportunity, driven by our digital transformation, open science incentives, and relational capacity building strategies, concentrating environments bypass tradition, instruction barriers, and engage with global scientific discourses. Moreover, the rise of localization innovation ecosystem, often fueled by mobile technology, artificial intelligence, individuals' knowledge system presents a unique advantage. Developing nations are equally positioned, separated, frequent innovation, creating, realizing, publishing, healthcare, and substantial agriculture. To fully exploit these opportunities, a paradigm shift our research governance is essential. This requires for formulation of progressive advice-based policy framework that incentives domestic funding, protect intellectual property, and therefore cross-border multidisciplinary funding machines. Developing countries can transition from positive customer of global technology to active producers of cutting-edge knowledge, ultimately optimizing the research, achieving the United Nations Development Goals. Thank you.
Thank you, Jigyasa ma'am. Now, I would like to call Dr. Akansha Dubey ma'am, HOD Journalism Department from Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, and her topic for paper presentation is उभरती शोध नीतियां, स्वदेशी ज्ञान प्रणालियां और नीति एकीकरण, एक वैश्विक विश्लेषण। जोरदार तालियों से मैडम का स्वागत करेंगे।
भारतीय संस्कृति के संवाहक डॉक्टर सर्वपल्ली राधाकृष्णन ने कहा था, यदि एक इंजीनियर से भूल हो जाए तो वो दीवारों के पीछे छिपकर रह सकती है। यदि किसी डॉक्टर से भूल हो जाए तो वो कहीं शव के रूप में दफन हो सकती है, पर अगर एक शिक्षक से भूल हो जाए तो फिर उसे राष्ट्र को दिग्भ्रमित करने में ज्यादा वक्त नहीं लगता। इसलिए शिक्षक का गलती करना या भूल चूक करना बिल्कुल भी क्षम्य नहीं होता। इसलिए एक शिक्षक के रूप में मेरा ये जो शोध है वो वैश्विक स्तर पर जो हमारी 2020 वैश्विक नीति आई हुई है शिक्षा प्रणाली पर, उस पर एक अध्ययन है, विश्लेषणात्मक अध्ययन है, और मेरी शोध का विषय है उभरती शोध नीतियां, स्वदेशी ज्ञान प्रणालियां और नीति एकीकरण, एक वैश्विक विश्लेषण परिचय। स्वदेशी और स्थानीय ज्ञान और मुख्यधारा के विज्ञान से अलग और कमतर इसे आंका नहीं जा सकता। हम बात करते हैं देश की, विदेश की, लेकिन किसी देश की संस्कृति और वहां के रहन सहन को यदि हम अनदेखा करेंगे तो अपनी ज्ञान प्रणाली को हम कमतर ही आंकेंगे। जलवायु परिवर्तन और पारिस्थितिकी संकटों से इस दौर में स्वदेशी समुदायों के पास मौजूद पारिस्थितिकी, कृषि, चिकित्सा और प्राकृतिक संसाधन प्रबंधन के ज्ञान का महत्व वैश्विक स्तर पर स्वीकार नहीं किया जा रहा है। आधुनिक शोध नीतियां स्वदेशी समुदायों के अधिकार और उनके ज्ञान की संप्रभुता का सम्मान करती हैं और यही वजह है कि NEP 2020 में संस्कृति और इतिहास को जोड़ा गया। नमस्कार, मैं डॉक्टर आकांक्षा दुबे पत्रकारिता विभाग की ओर से अपना ये शोध पत्र प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। 21वीं सदी के वैश्विक ज्ञान आधारित समाज में अनुसंधान और नवाचार की भूमिका राष्ट्रों के विकास के केंद्र में आ गई है। जहां एक और वैश्विक शोध नीतियां मुख्य रूप से तकनीकी प्रगति, पेटेंट आधारित बौद्धिक संपदा और वैश्विक प्रतिस्पर्धा पर केंद्रित हैं, वहीं आधुनिक वैज्ञानिक विमर्श से इन्हें बाहर रखा गया है। ये विसंगति है कि अब एक महत्वपूर्ण नीतिगत प्रश्न कि क्या वैश्विक अनुसंधान ढांचा स्थानीय और स्वदेशी समुदायों के सदियों पुराने अनुभवजन्य ज्ञान को आत्मसात करने में सक्षम है। वर्तमान शोध परिदृश्य में एक बड़ा बदलाव देखा जा रहा है, जहां समावेशी नवाचार और सतत विकास पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। स्वदेशी ज्ञान केवल सांस्कृतिक धरोहर नहीं है, बल्कि ये जैव विविधता, जलवायु संरक्षण, उसके अनुकूलन और स्वास्थ्य देखभाल जैसे क्षेत्रों में वैज्ञानिक समाधानों का एक समृद्ध स्रोत भी है। सार्वजनिक डोमेन में मानकर उसे कमतर आंकना कहीं भी मुझे लगता है कि शैक्षिक स्तर पर शोध का विषय नहीं हो सकता, बल्कि ये व्यावसायिक स्वरूप है। इस शोध पत्र के माध्यम से उभरती हुई राष्ट्रीय और वैश्विक शोध नीतियां स्वदेशी ज्ञान प्रणालियों को औपचारिक वैज्ञानिक अनुसंधान ढांचे में एकीकृत कर देखा जाना चाहिए और उसी दृष्टिकोण से ये विश्लेषणात्मक अध्ययन किया गया है। ये केवल दो अलग अलग प्रणालियों का मिलन नहीं है, बल्कि ये एक ऐसी संवाद परक नीति है जिसकी आवश्यकता अनौपचारिक विरासत के रूप में ऊपर से उठकर न्याय संगत ज्ञान को बढ़ावा देना है। मेरे शोध का उद्देश्य है वर्तमान वैश्विक अनुसंधान और नवाचार नीतियों का आलोचनात्मक अध्ययन करना, नीति एकीकरण के मॉडल की खोज, विभिन्न देशों और अपनाए गए सफल नीति एकीकरण मॉडलों का तुलनात्मक अध्ययन इसमें किया गया है। भविष्य की दिशा तय करना, ये रेखांकित करना कि कैसे वैश्विक स्तर पर ओपन साइंस और स्वदेशी संप्रभुता के बीच संतुलन स्थापित करके एक अधिक समावेशी अनुसंधान परिस्थिति तंत्र का निर्माण हो रहा है। इस पूरे विश्लेषण के अनुसार जो निष्कर्ष निकला वो ये रहा कि समकालीन वैश्विक शोध परिदृश्य एक महत्वपूर्ण मोड़ पर खड़ा है। उभरती शोध नीतियां अब केवल तकनीकी नवाचार और आर्थिक विकास तक सीमित नहीं है, बल्कि वे तेजी से समावेशी और सांस्कृतिक रूप से संवेदनशील दृष्टिकोण अपना रही हैं। स्वदेशी ज्ञान प्रणालियों को शोध और नीति निर्माण में एकीकृत करना अब केवल एक नैतिक अनिवार्यता नहीं है, बल्कि वैश्विक चुनौतियों का समाधान खोजने के लिए एक रणनीतिक आवश्यकता बन गई है। ज्ञान प्रणालियों में इन नीतियों में स्वदेशी ज्ञान का समावेश आधुनिक वैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण और पारंपरिक परिस्थिति ज्ञान के बीच एक आवश्यक सेतु का निर्माण करेगा और जलवायु परिवर्तन, जैव विविधता संरक्षण और सतत विकास जैसे जटिल मुद्दे अधिक प्रभावी और टिकाऊ समाधान के रूप में क्षमता रखते हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I would like to call Ritulata Tarak ma'am from Agrasen Mahavidyalaya, Assistant Professor, Journalism Department, and her topic of paper presentation is Ubharti Anusandhan Nitiyan Bauddhik Sampada Adhikar. Welcome, ma'am.
धन्यवाद मैम। नमस्कार, मेरा नाम ऋतुलता तारक है। मैं पत्रकारिता विभाग से असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर। मेरा विषय है उभरती अनुसंधान नीतियों, बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार और नवाचार नीतियों पर वैश्विक परिप्रेक्ष्य में मीडिया की भूमिका। आज चूंकि हम आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंसी के समय में जी रहे हैं, हमें पता है कि हर चीज के लिए कहीं ना कहीं हमें ऑनलाइन की चीजों की जरूरत पड़ती, कंटेंट की जरूरत पड़ती। तो हमारा सबसे पहले यही जाता है कि एक बार ही सारी चीजों को देख लिया जाए, किस तरीके से हम चीजों को पेटेंट करते हैं, किस तरीके से सारी चीजों को लेते हैं। कल भी एक प्रेजेंटेशन दिया गया था आर्ची मैम की तरफ से, तो उन्होंने बताया था कि अनुसंधान की चीजों को लेने से पहले बहुत सारी चीजें देखी जाती है, जिसमें पेटेंट का हो गया या ट्रेडमार्क वगैरह का की जो कंटेंट उठाए जाते हैं, तो वो कभी-कभी कॉपीराइट का मुद्दा भी बन जाता है। इसके अंतर्गत मैं ये कहना चाहूंगी, वर्तमान वैश्विक व्यवस्था के अनुसंधान नीतियों, बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार और नवाचार रणनीतियों के बीच एक जटिल अंतर संबंध विकसित हुआ है, जो भविष्य की प्रौद्योगिकी और सामाजिक विकास की दिशा तय कर रहा है। यह शोध पत्र समकालीन वैश्विक अनुसंधान नीतियों का विश्लेषण करने और यह समझने का प्रयास करता है कि बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार किस प्रकार नवाचार को प्रोत्साहित करता है या बाधित करता है। सहयोगात्मक अनुसंधान कोविड-19 महामारी के बाद से अनुसंधान नीतियों में अलग-अलग तरीके के वैश्विक डेटा को साझा कर यह निकाल कर लाया गया कि बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार जैसी भी चीजों के बारे में बात की जानी चाहिए। इस शोध के निम्न कुछ उद्देश्य निकाले गए, जिसमें मैंने निकाला है कि सार्वजनिक भागीदारी को बढ़ावा देना। एक मीडिएटर या मीडिया की तरफ से अगर कहा जाए, तो मीडिया नागरिकों को यह समझने में मदद करता है कि अनुसंधान नीतियां उनके जीवन को कैसे प्रभावित करती हैं, इनमें पारदर्शिता या जवाबदेही जैसी चीजें हैं या नहीं, इन सारी चीजों का विश्लेषण करती है। यहाँ तक इनके पेटेंट, कॉपीराइट, ट्रेडमार्क अक्सर विकसित और विकासशील देशों के बीच में विवाद का विषय बने रहे हैं, तो इसमें मीडिया बहस करती है या उनके सहयोग में रहती, इस तरीके की चीजों को मंच पर लाने का किस तरीके से काम किया जाता है, ये एक अनुसंधान का उद्देश्य रहा है। वैश्विक स्वास्थ्य बनाम पेटेंट के कानून जो होते हैं, जिनके लिए कहा गया कि कोविड-19 महामारी के दौरान मीडिया ने जो वैश्विक स्तर पर वैक्सीन पेटेंट निकाला था, उस पर व्यापक बहस चलाई गई थी बहुत सारे न्यूज चैनल्स पर। इसका मेरे शोध का जो निष्कर्ष रहा है वो कुछ इस प्रकार है। वैश्विक अनुसंधान, बौद्धिक संपदा अधिकार और नवाचार नीतियों की पारिस्थितिकी तंत्र में मीडिया की भूमिका अपरिहार्य रही है। यह केवल सूचना प्रदाता नहीं है, बल्कि वैश्विक नीति एजेंडा को आकार देने वाला एक रणनीतिक स्तंभ है। एक संतुलित, निष्पक्ष और अनुसंधान आधारित मीडिया ही यह सुनिश्चित करता है कि भविष्य में नवाचार की नीतियां न केवल आर्थिक रूप से व्यवहारिक हों, बल्कि सामाजिक रूप से न्यायसंगत और नैतिक रूप से सुदृढ़ भी हो। वैश्विक सहयोग को बढ़ावा देने और ज्ञान को समान वितरण के लिए मीडिया, नीति निर्माताओं और वैज्ञानिकों के बीच एक मजबूत समन्वय समय की मांग है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, Ritulata ma'am. Thank you so much all participants for your wonderful presentations. Now we have a lunch break till 2 p.m. Rest paper presented after the lunch break. So we will gather again in this hall after 2 p.m. for rest paper presentations. Thank you so much all of you. It's time for lunch break. Please, so all of you please gather in first floor for lunch and take delicious food. इसको ऑफ कर देना। ऑफ